Hello, Nick. Congratulations on the win.
Thanks, Doug.
What kind of really nice luxury to have a guy like Stanley on the bench in those last minute situations because his versatility defensively. He really blew up those two possessions.
Yeah, it was, it was good to play a little offense for defense there. I mean, they were going, pretty hard at Chris. I think we talked about that pregame. He just needs a little more experience and reps up there guarding some of these perimeter guys, and we'll keep working at that. I think he bails himself out a lot at the end of the drive sometimes by chasing them down, but again, we just give us a little better defensive look and chance to switch and guard some of their quickness.
I know, their zone presents a lot of three-point opportunities. It looked like a feast or famine kind of night. Poor start, big middle, so third.
Yeah, we had, I always keep saying the same thing over and over, Doug, right? Where there's some stretches of really good basketball, and the stretches that aren't so good can't be as not so good as they were tonight. You know what I mean? Those got to be average or just slightly below. And I thought the game we dipped a lot tonight. Some great segments, some really poor segments, some great segments, some really, and probably our really good basketball segments weren't as long tonight as they have been in the last, 3 or 4 games. So I guess that's part of it, some ups and downs of the season. But I'm glad we just managed our way through it and figured out a way to win. Wasn't easy out there tonight, that's for sure.
That consistency just comes in time, do you hope, or what can you do?
Yeah, I mean, we just gotta again keep learning and teaching, Doug. We got to show the film and try to fix the mistakes. Again, we did a better job, I thought, on the switching, like blown communications tonight. We didn't have as many of those, and then again, when you switch good, it becomes guarding the ball, and I don't think we guarded the ball nearly good enough. And that's what we're going to have to polish up, and that's again taking time and hopefully again I thought that they still got a lot of new guys and guys that have played relatively small amount in this league, and they just needs a little bit more seasoning to be able to play and extend our good minutes of play, I think.
Great. Thanks very much as always, Nick. Appreciate the time.
Okay, Doug. Have a good one.
You too.
Next question goes to Josh Lewinberg from TSN.
Hey, Nick. We've been talking about the continued development of Chris over the last few days, and you mentioned some of the defensive things that he needs to get better at. But in terms of those last few minutes, being able to knock down those free throws, being able to stay in the game with the 5 fouls and make some of the plays that he did down the stretch, I mean, how encouraging are those things in terms of him taking that next step?
Yeah, I mean, I think again, Josh, he's producing, super high level at the offensive end. I think again, he's affecting a good number of shots at the defensive end. It's just there's I already talked about it. There's just lots of polishing areas for him defensively. Just schemes and matchups and learning. Just not missing some of the coverages and things like that. And again, that's usually just takes a little bit more time out there, but he's certainly getting a lot of time. So we need him to grow quick. We don't have much time to wait. So we need him to grow quick, and we need to keep coaching and teaching.
One of the better games we've seen from Norm in a while. Was it just a matter of the shots falling, or did you see something different or something that he was doing better tonight?
Well, I thought, obviously he gets started early with a couple shots falling. Guys found him. Obviously that puts a pretty good, pep in his step. I thought he was solid defensively. He was creating a little bit too. They're rushing out to him. He's driving into the paint, drew some fouls and things like that. So yeah, I think that has a lot to do with it, but that's kind of, I know 24 is a big night, but we know he's capable of that, but that's kind of what we need. We need his punch, like 15 or so off the bench, I think, and we're gonna need that offense, keep the offense ticking over, with the second unit, et cetera.
Great. Thanks, Nick. Have a good night.
Yep. Thanks, Josh.
Next question goes to Stephen Lung from Sportsnet.
Hey, Nick. But this is like I think it's a stat like this is like the first kind of like first time you guys have won 2 games back to back, and I was just wondering just like the nature of these 2 victories, like kind of these tight wins. Like does that do anything to build momentum if there even is such a thing in sports?
Well, we're getting a lot of practice at our end of game strategies, Stephen. There's really no way to recreate those in practice. So we're getting every night out, we're getting 7 or 8 situations at both ends of the floor to work on. Got to work on our getting it in, the game at the end twice tonight. we got work on our 3-point defense again for another game. So there you go.
Would you prefer that you win that you win this tightly? Would you prefer that you win like bigger? Like is there any preference at all in the way you win?
Well, ideally, I want to win each quarter 30-20, even. So it's a 40-point win each night. So yeah, I'd much prefer that.
Thanks a lot, Nick.
Yeah, you're welcome.
2 more for you, Coach. First one goes to Aaron Rose from SI.com.
Sounds like a good strategy you have planned out. I want to ask about Norm. Is there something that he's able to do against the zone defense that kind of allowed him to be more successful tonight? Is he sort of a zone buster?
Well, I think that, we talked about that, and we certainly in the last couple days between him, said this is game tailor-made for you, Norm. We're going to put you in some right spots. We ought to be able to draw some defense out to the ball and get you tucked in behind there in the corner. And, and I think he came into the game confident, probably knowing he was going to get some good looks, right? And I think that goes a long way to helping a guy feel good going into a game.
You said the other night that with the way you guys performed against the zone, you expected to see more of it. Maybe you feel the same way tonight. Is there something you're taking away that you can learn from tonight and use if you see the zone again?
Well, that's another, I'd say that's another positive. Going back to Steven's kind of thoughts is that we've got to play against a ton of zone here, 2 games. And again, you don't really get to recreate that as well in practice normally. I mean, you work on it against your own zone and some things like that. But, I think at times, again, it looked awesome what we were doing out there. We were really creating great shots and moving the ball. And there was times it got a little stagnant, but improved from the other night, right? I think I didn't see the quite the bogged down play that we had tonight, maybe a couple possessions here and there, but I thought for the most part, we continued to hit the right places and get the right shots.
Thanks, Nick.
Yep. See you, Aaron.
Final question goes to Eric Wilson from the Sports Arena.
Coach, appreciate your time. In the pregame, we talked about defensively having clear communication and being more physical. Just wanted to get your thoughts on what you thought, how that went tonight.
Well, I thought we did a better job communicating, Eric. I didn't think there were as many blown switches tonight where they were getting out, slipping out of those things for wide open threes. We were good on one end of the physicality. I thought kind of on the front end, the back end, when we made the switch, they were still getting some rolls behind us. And when you switch, you can't allow that. You're trying to keep the ball in front of you. You're trying to keep the roller in front of you. They did sneak those, so the physicality on those wasn't quite good enough. But I think the communication was good. And I think you and I also talked about if we do a good job of switching and communicating, then it's going to turn into an ISO game. And they got a lot of speed and quickness and skill, with those 3 guards and Hayward on top of it. He kind of beat you with skill and savvy and shot making rather than just revving his engine and going downhill like Graham and Rozier do. And Ball really did a good job, I thought, of attacking our closeouts and getting into the paint and making plays too. So I guess we're kind of, much better communication, not maybe as good as sit down and guard the ball defense, but we'll work on it.